Weekend hinging on the weather. Of course, we'll take a look at that and more coming up.
Driving Las Colinas looking okay so far this morning. There are a couple of traffic tie-ups you might want to take note of. We'll talk about them coming up.
It's 6 a.m. and you're watching Good Day on Fox 4.
Good morning. It is finally Friday, the 5th day of June. I'm Tim Ryan.
I'm Lauren Prismal. Now that lake levels are getting lower, boaters can finally hit the water.
That's right. Dan is live at one of the busiest lakes in North Texas, Louisville.
Well, good morning, Tim. And the situation here has improved somewhat recently. The lake has gone down about 1.5 feet. However, as we take a look around, we can see that vast areas still remain flooded. But the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says Lake Louisville is being reopened to boat traffic today. The lake had been declared off limits after all of the heavy rains caused huge inflows. There was concern that wakes from boats could flood lakeside homes, but water levels have dropped enough to make that no longer a significant problem. However, the Army Corps says boaters still need to be aware of debris and other underwater obstructions that could still be a hazard. Also, in spite of the lake being open to boats, all of the boat ramps remain closed because of very high water levels. At Grapevine Lake, boat ramps are also closed. That lake is still open, but boaters are being urged to be very careful when they're out on the water and steer clear of areas of the lake that are close to buildings or other structures. Again, the concern there that wakes and waves from boats could cause flooding of property right along the lake side. Reporting live at Lake Louisville, Dan Godwin on Good Day.
Wow, looks like a beautiful morning out there, huh?
Right, but still some dangers. You know, it was dangerous for boaters when the water was too low.
Right.
Now it's dangerous because it's too high. Can't win, Jen.
And it's one of those odd things, too, because we're still talking about, like you said, the same hazards when we have, even with the high water levels, there can still be lots of obstructions in the water. So that's, of course, why they're still being extremely careful about letting folks there out on the waterways. But for folks maybe taking to the air instead of the water today, if you're headed out of DFW Airport, the weather here in Dallas-Fort Worth is beautiful. Nice, clear conditions, a couple of clouds here and there, but certainly not enough to delay things here at DFW thanks to the weather here. The weather elsewhere could be a little rough, so of course you still want to check with your carrier just to make sure. Visibility is also doing well this morning, anywhere between 5 and 10 miles. Haven't seen any reports of fog this morning, even with the high humidities and with temperatures in the low, mid, and upper 60s, even some low and mid and upper 70s too. It's a nice way to start your Friday. I know it's Friday, folks. Everybody's getting ready for the weekend, but I think the people getting on the roadways are just trying to get through this morning first.
Yeah, and the morning commute overall is not terrible. We don't have any early morning wrecks in Tarrant County, for example, or stalls for that matter. Moving around the south into Lake Arlington has gotten off to a good start. It hasn't in recent mornings. But here, you can see we do have some areas where you need to be aware of what's going on. This is at International Parkway in the ramp to southbound 360. They've had to take out a chunk of concrete, and they're repaving this area because of separation that occurred here, and it caused a bowing in the roadway that actually ended up causing some damage to some vehicles that hit it when this occurred, that separation yesterday afternoon. So it's unclear as to how long it's going to take to fix this problem, so just be ready for a detour over to the northbound 360 ramp instead, and you'll have to take Harwood to then make a U-turn to go in that area. This is 635 LBJ, westbound at Jupiter Road. And you can see that there are those barricades that are up. Wait, here comes, okay, yeah, see it up there on the right side of your shot? And the HOV lane not being available means a heavier than normal drive in the morning rush hour. It's already slow starting at I-30 with average speeds under 35 miles an hour. So be ready for a test of your patience continuing over to the high 5. Lauren?
Thank you, Chip. One man died in a crash that left his car wrapped around a light pole. This was near Eastfield College in Far East Dallas. Firefighters worked to pull that driver out of the car about 2:30 this morning. Investigators say he lost control and then the car spun. The impact of the crash lifted the pole and its concrete barrier out of the ground. The Parker County Sheriff's Office found the body of a missing teenager in the swimming pool of his home last night. The home's in a rural community between Weatherford and Springtown, west of Fort Worth. 15-year-old James Eder went missing Thursday afternoon. Relatives said he was severely autistic, suffered seizures. The sheriff's office said one of the first places deputies searched was the pool, but it was murky and they didn't see the victim.
The pool today had been checked several times, but it's one of those above ground things, and the water was murky and you could not see the bottom.
Parker County Sheriff's Office, along with state police and search dogs, looked for that boy for more than 6 hours.
A man accused of shooting an 8-year-old boy in the face almost 2 years ago pleaded no contest.
Brian Cloninger was charged with injury to a child. Prosecutors say he was drunk when he shot DJ Madden outside an apartment complex. That was in the Lake Highlands area of Dallas. That 8-year-old lost part of his jaw, nearly all of his teeth. He's undergone several surgeries. Cloninger waived his right to a jury trial. He will be sentenced by a judge.
A family is demanding an apology from 2 middle school teachers. Those teachers at the school in Sulphur Springs handed out end-of-the-year awards and called them the Ghetto Classroom Awards. Deborah Jones says her 14-year-old grandson got one and was hurt by it. Teachers Tim Couch and Stephanie Garner apologized to the family.
He's pretty hurt, you know, he feels pretty inferior. You know, he wants to succeed, and, you know, it just kind of hurt his feelings.
Family wants a public apology from the teachers. The district says the matter is under investigation. The nation's environmental regulators say that drinking water is safe from contamination by oil and natural gas drilling. The EPA says fracking could affect water if there are not proper safeguards in place. The new report found instances of poorly constructed oil and gas wells impacting drinking water. An outbreak of bird flu in the Midwest is impacting shoppers and businesses here in North Texas.
Fox 4's Dion England joins us with the details. Dion?
Well, that's right. Eggs are in short supply due to that outbreak of avian flu among birds. It has driven up prices and caused quite a shortage. No one perhaps is feeling the effects like those who depend on eggs for business, namely the Paris Bakery in Arlington. Wang Nguyen says he needs eggs to make a countless number of cakes, cookies, and sweet rolls. Not only are there fewer eggs available, but the cost has skyrocketed. The egg dilemma: some 44 million turkeys and egg-producing chickens in many Midwest states have died from an outbreak of avian flu or were euthanized to stop the spread. Nguyen says the biggest impact for him right now: the cost.
Eggs was around $22, $23 for a box of eggs. A box of 15 dozen eggs, and now they're like $47 for a box of eggs, so it's more than double in price.
And it's not just bakeries. Whataburger this week limited its breakfast hours, stopping at 9 instead of 11 a.m. during the week. H-E-B, which owns Central Market, is rationing eggs, posting signs asking customers to limit their purchase to 3 cartons. Now, local grocer Kroger is optimistic it has not placed restrictions on egg purchases, noting it gets its eggs from a local supplier in Prosper. It cannot guarantee, however, its egg prices won't increase. Tim, Lauren, back to you.
Thank you so much. No new cases of bird flu in Iowa is allowing that state and federal workers to focus on euthanizing millions of chickens and turkeys that already contracted the virus. 24 million chickens, more than 1 million turkeys have been killed. The Iowa Department of Agriculture believes warmer temperatures will kill the virus. Forecasters in Iowa are calling for temperatures in the upper 80s over the next week. Personal information on about 4 million federal workers may have been stolen by hackers in China.
The Department of Homeland Security says hackers hit the Office of Personnel Management. The FBI is investigating. Workers are being offered credit monitoring and identity theft protection, but to workers in sensitive positions like law enforcement officers, that's not much consolation. 6:09 right now. 3 people were shot in the same part of northern Colorado recently, and that has police looking for what may be a serial sniper on the loose.
And it's a rocky road, literally, in Fort Worth. What may be behind this busy road that's buckling?
Friday's off and running on Good Day. Go local with news, weather, and traffic. Plus a performance BMW that costs as much as 2 regular ones. And we're trackside for Indy car racing at TMS. Buckle up for Good Day Friday.
Yeah? Right on. Lickety lick, lick, lick.
Come on, shake, 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 yeah. Shake, 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 yeah.
6:13. Some people in Irving want the city to hire experts to find out why there have been so many earthquakes lately. City council members say they also want answers, but they're leaving that up to the state. The Texas legislature appropriated money to study the problem, but we won't get any answers overnight.
It just simply takes time, but that report's going to go to the governor, and we're going to aggressively follow up with our state legislature and with the governor's office that whatever the findings are, that solutions are then prepared and identified to help resolve the issue, depending on what those findings are.
I think that would instill pride in the...
Over the past year, more than 60 small quakes have hit North Texas, most of them centered in and around Irving.
Live look from Lake Lewisville this morning. Beautiful sight. Unfortunately, a sad sight as well when you look at where the beauty comes from, all the reflection from the water. That's because they're still seeing flooding in many spots across the area, not just Lake Lewisville, but many area lakes still well above average. Well, we're just about right on target for where we should be in the morning hours for the morning lows. We're at about 70 now at DFW. Normal morning lows about 69. 71 in McKinney, 75 in Addison, and 70 in Denton. We back out a little bit here. Plenty of 70s on the map, lots of upper 60s too, but no big temperature variations across the map. In fact, speaking of temperature variations, what we're expecting right now is basically what we were seeing 24 hours ago. So if you're a creature of habit, maybe head out every single morning at the very same time. Expect the temperatures right now to be exactly like they were at this time yesterday. So no surprises today with the weather. In fact, we back out a little bit here to show you the big view. Very calm across not just North Texas, but basically all of Texas. We've got high pressure in place that's really just keeping all the storms to the north. We're keeping the lows to the west, keeping them to the east as well. So here we just stay nice and calm. And of course, with the calmer weather comes the heat as well. Once again, all the storms keep riding off to the north. That's why they're seeing all the issues over in Colorado and Kansas. In fact, Kansas seeing huge hail overnight into this morning hours for that same reason that we're staying calm. Unfortunately, we're seeing once again that jet stream staying just to our north, which is why we're seeing the heat starting to build back into Texas. 92 is what we're calling for today. The winds stay very, very calm this afternoon from the southeast 5 to 10 all the way through the afternoon. And I really think one of the issues that we'll see today is, of course, the air quality alert. And that's why we're still telling folks that if you are one of the sensitive groups, just maybe spend a little bit more time indoors than outdoors this afternoon. Loving the weekend forecast. 93 on Saturday, 94 on Sunday. Very light winds both days. And at this point, we're just seeing a few clouds here and there, but still above average. Normal for this time of year is about 89, so a few degrees above that, but no big temperature swings. We'll see the warmest temperature on Sunday, then slowly cool off back to the low 90s. Next best chance of rain comes Wednesday at about 30%. Remember, you can follow us between newscasts with the latest on the weather. Of course, some neat weather trivia as well. All you have to do is search Fox 4 Weather and hit the like button.
Well, construction crews are repairing a ramp that was buckling on the south side of DFW Airport. That ramp goes from International Parkway to southbound Highway 360. TxDOT's not said whether the recent rains caused the problem, but drivers are going to have to find an alternate route until repairs are done. Yeah, it seems like the streets have just gotten beat up lately, Chip.
They really have. And when you actually looked at the shots from Sky 4 that we weren't able to show you, you can see some of the erosion in the areas that they build up the dirt. And it had separated, and I'm thinking that it was just a situation where it went right through and underneath this transition ramp, and then it just separated and buckled, caused that bump that you see right there. And again, they're still working on fixing that. No word yet as to how long it's going to take, though, for that emergency repair work. As far as the drive is concerned right now in downtown Dallas, we're going to go focus specifically in this area. You think immediately, well, we got some stuff going on here. This is a side street problem, that fatal crash investigation in Mesquite. So that's not in the main lanes. That's around Oates and La Prada. Then on I-30, it sure looks like we've got some slow traffic due to that marker I put down here around Cesar Chavez. The actual problem here, not enough concrete for all the cars. The disability that I had marked off is actually a stalled vehicle that is sitting in the left lane. As far as the drive is concerned on LBJ, much better moving up through this area. You folks over in Corinth, listen up. Crash southbound on I-35E around Corinth Parkway, and that is causing a backup to Loop 288. Drive times in Tarrant County up now.
Good morning. It is 6:18. The murder of a man on a sidewalk in northern Colorado sparked fears that a serial sniper may be in the area. There have been 3 deadly shootings, all within 15 miles in the towns of Windsor and Loveland. The latest victim was a man who was just out for a walk. A bicyclist was found dead May 18th. Police and the FBI are offering a $10,000 reward for information on those 2 unsolved shootings. A former presidential candidate asked for leniency for a college student who's connected in a terrorism case. Ex-Massachusetts Governor Michael Dukakis wrote a letter to a federal judge in support of Robel Philippos. Philippos was convicted of lying to the FBI about the Boston Marathon bombings 2 years ago. Dukakis said justice would not be served by time in prison. He is one of 2 college friends of killer Dzhokhar Tsarnaev facing sentencing today. A major earthquake injured 11 people, stranded more than 130 others on a mountain in Southeast Asia. This was a magnitude 5.9 quake, and it struck near a high peak. One park director says the climber's route is blocked by rocks and boulders. They were loosened by the quake. Bad weather and high altitude is really making rescue efforts difficult there. More bodies are being recovered from that capsized river cruise ship in China. Now that the ship has been righted, nearly 100 bodies have been found, yet more than 330 are still missing. As water's drained off, the search efforts are expected to quicken. A Chinese Transport Ministry spokesman says chances of finding anyone else alive are very, very slim. It is 6:20. For a second straight day, Southwest Airlines struggled to sell discounted tickets. Details on the troubles and what it means for you. And an icon known for her style is taking it down a notch. We'll explain. Here are your winning lottery numbers. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is worth $15 million.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
In her bare feet or in her high heels, no matter how she moving, it's all the same thrill. On top of my Yeti on an old boat dock, standing in the river on an old flat rock. Clouds roll by.
23 minutes after 6 o'clock on a Friday, nice 70 degrees outside. It's going to warm up though. Barbie can kick off her heels and slip on a pair of flats now. A new Fashionistas line Barbie comes with an adjustable ankle, so she can change her footwear to something a little more casual. Mattel also adding 8 new skin tones, new eye and hair colors to these selections of Barbie. It says the new additions reflect our multicultural world because not everyone is blonde with blue eyes, Jen.
Oh, but there's a pale redhead. Did you see her? She's in there somewhere. There she is. Yes. Wearing flats. Yeah, we're excited about that. We're also excited about the weather too. So, was that a transition? No, didn't work. All right. For kids going to the last day of school today, beautiful weather to start. Won't need to grab the jacket this morning. Temperatures in the upper 60s and low 70s by the time we're headed off to school. Mostly clear skies. Lots of sunshine by lunchtime, up to 84 degrees. Once again, just a few clouds here and there. And we're already starting to sweat by the afternoon, 92 degrees, plenty of sunshine. And yeah, it's only up from there. Chip, we get even warmer by the weekend. Of course, everybody's talking about that.
Yes, and right now, you know what? Nobody's getting a little hot under the collar, at least right now on the Fort Worth Mixmaster. Folks are used to some stop-and-go traffic there, and that is occurring. Did have some early morning concerns along Highway 287. Blue Mountain Road area had a vehicle run off the roadway. For drivers moving through this area, it is not obviously causing any significant delays. As far as drive times are concerned, heading maybe from Tarrant into Dallas County, so far not bad on either I-20, I-30, or 183. Tim?
Well, if you haven't taken advantage of the Southwest Airlines fare sale, you've got a little more time. Its website was overwhelmed during a 3-day sale. It's now been extended to midnight tonight because so many people were prevented from actually booking flights. The sale includes one-way fares as low as $49. The flights from August 25th to December 16th. Apple appears to be catching up with demand for its new watch. It'll be available to buy in Apple retail stores in about 2 weeks. Until now, you could just look at them, try them on, but then you had to order one and wait and wait. Apple refuses to disclose sales numbers, but says the watch has surpassed its expectations, whatever that means. Subway, the latest restaurant to promise a healthier menu. It's removing artificial flavors, colors, and preservatives, but not until sometime in 2017. Subway's under pressure by customers demanding better quality ingredients. 26 minutes after 6 o'clock, a confrontation between 2 frustrated drivers nearly ended in violence during a busy rush hour incident.
Dan Godwin live at Lake Louisville, which is once again reopening to boaters today. However, very high water levels remain a problem here. We'll have the story coming up on Good Day.
Good Day continues at 6:30 a.m.
Well, the levels are starting to drop, and that is good news for boaters who have those things sitting in their backyards and want to get out on lakes.
Still have to be cautious out there, though. Dan Godwin live at Lake Louisville. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Lauren. And we have set up this morning in a couple of areas that used to be adjacent to the lake, and now they're part of it. Over in this direction, that is a driving range, most of it now underwater. And then if we pan over to the left a little bit, we can see a campground picnic area. The edge of the lake used to be a little bit beyond the trees there in the distance. Lots of high water. However, the lake is down about 1.5 feet from its highest level. So starting today, boats are once again allowed out on the water here. The Army Corps of Engineers had prohibited boats, saying the wakes posed a threat of flooding for lakeside homes, but that threat has dissipated. However, the Army Corps says there is still debris and other obstructions just below the surface of the water, so boaters need to be very aware of their surroundings. And all boat ramps remain closed here, so that's going to limit how many boats can make it out onto the water. It's a similar situation at Grapevine Lake. Boats are allowed, boat ramps are closed, but boaters are being strongly encouraged there to avoid areas of the lake that are adjacent to buildings and other structures. Again, the concern being that waves or wakes from the boats can cause flooding to property that is just along the shoreline. Reporting live at Lake Louisville, Dan Godwin on Good Day.
Well, dozens of people who call Coppell home are still living in a hotel or a temporary shelter. Look at this. This is flooding at the Wellington Apartments. It forced tenants out of more than 100 units. It was last Saturday when that happened. Crews are pumping water, trying to get that water down. No word on when tenants will be allowed to return, but the sun sure is helping things, at least you hope, Jen.
Yeah, it actually is. It does help to evaporate quite a bit more than you'd probably expect, not just the flooding that we saw, but also the lakes as well. So we are starting to make progress in some spots, others still draining into lake areas. So don't get your hopes up that this is going to be a quick fix, folks. I mean, it's still going to take days for a lot of these places to really see the water lines recede. What we are concerned about with today, though, aside from the areas that already do have flooding, we're not going to see any additional flooding thanks to the fact that there will be no rain today. But we do have an air quality warning for the areas that you see in gray. That's going to be until 4 p.m. today. That's just for the sensitive groups. So make sure if you have asthma or any other upper respiratory issues, you don't get too excited about the afternoon. You don't spend too much time outdoors, as that could cause problems. So temperatures this morning at 65 in Bowie and Bridgeport, 70 in Denton, a little warmer in Dallas, about 76. It's 72 in Terrell and about 66 now over in Stephenville. So still a little on the humid side, but Chip, the great news with the humidity is even though it's a little sticky and has that kind of summer feel this morning, no fog.
Right.
Because that's the last thing we need this morning is to deal with fog.
Visibility issues would be rough. Right now, it is rough on one roadway in Denton County, and it's southbound I-35E, moving from Loop 288 down to Corinth Parkway in the Post Oak area. The exit ramp to Post Oak, Corinth Parkway blocked, and that's the cause of the backup. It's taking a good 20 minutes to sit through, continuing down toward Louisville, so please plan accordingly. Good news and bad news in and around downtown Dallas. Now, the good news is the stalled vehicle on eastbound I-30 around the Cesar Chavez Boulevard interchange has cleared away. Here, though, on westbound I-30, it's the Chrome Cruncher left lane blocked here. As a result, we have a backup that extends beyond Dolphin Road and growing quickly through the Ferguson Curve. Please take note. Plan accordingly. Tim and Lauren.
Officers arrested the man behind the wheel of a car that ran into a squad car about 1 o'clock this morning. It was near LBJ Freeway in Preston. No officers were hurt, but the department posted these pictures on Twitter. And a Dallas police officer was injured, grazed by a speeding car last night in West Oak Cliff. The driver ended up flipping the car. That person also injured. Both are expected to recover. A driver watching a disturbing road rage incident recorded it as it was happening in North Dallas.
Well, the drivers of a black Nissan Altima and a silver Dodge Ram went back and forth. Look at this. This was May 31st in the afternoon, southbound 75. The exchange got so heated that at one point the two vehicles nearly collided, and seconds later the barrel of a gun is seen sticking out of the truck's window. A local attorney says this case could have led to criminal charges.
The fact that the pickup truck was mirroring into the lane and stopping, that's aggravated assault on its own, and then pulling the gun is another count of aggravated assault.
The YouTube video clearly shows the vehicle's license plates. The driver who pointed the gun was not picked up by police because the other driver involved did not call 911. Dallas police say they are investigating now. The Fort Worth Police Association is defending two officers who were disciplined for what they did during a low-speed chase. That chase last week from Fort Worth to Arlington lasted 3 hours. Officer Dennis Elise was taken off the SWAT team for his decision to end the chase by ramming the vehicle involved. Another SWAT officer, Brian Gentry, is on leave. Investigators say he may have used excessive force by hitting the driver with his weapon.
I think when you look at the end results, Officer Elise's decision was dead on. He stopped the pursuit. There was no one injured. There were no citizens injured. There were no officers injured. And the suspect wasn't injured except for the injuries he suffered from the takedown and getting him out of the vehicle.
Fort Worth police say we continually strive to be professional, fair, and transparent when reviewing the actions of our personnel. There is an ongoing internal investigation. It is one of the biggest hacks in U.S. history, and we still don't really know how big it is.
All signs pointing to China for the theft of personal information about millions of federal workers. And Fox's Doug Luzader is live in Washington. And again, most disturbing, there's some people with security clearances, people like federal agents whose information may be exposed.
That's right. The vast majority of security clearances are done through this Office of Personnel Management that was the target in this massive hacking attack. The number of people at risk this morning is staggering. The federal government's Office of Personnel Management is the human resources department for millions of federal workers. Hackers are believed to have found a treasure trove, including names, addresses, even social security numbers.
Foreign governments and criminals are probing these systems every single day.
President Obama has spoken about the risk before, and the Department of Homeland Security has a system called Einstein, designed to detect intrusions, but it doesn't appear to have offered enough of a warning. China is seen as the likely culprit, and attacks in the U.S. have originated there before. A Chinese embassy spokesman in Washington said in a statement that accusations are not responsible and counterproductive, but no denial. All of this after the IRS had to explain to Congress this week how its system was recently breached, exposing taxpayers and raising questions of government competence.
This is not just a question of resources, and it's certainly not a lack of commitment from the IRS staff. It's also a question of expertise.
Now, those employees, those federal employees that were potentially impacted by this hack are being notified about that. They're being told to keep an eye on their credit card accounts, their bank accounts, and they're also being given some free credit monitoring. But we still don't know how many people will ultimately have their information leaked as a result of this. Back to you guys.
Could keep growing.
If this does go back to China, nothing happens in China without the approval or permission of the Chinese government, especially when it comes to the internet. And frequently it's the Chinese military involved.
Well, that's the thing, is that the military would probably be the culprit if this is traced back to China. You know, we just don't have a real solid footing for how we deal with other nations and cyber attacks right now. It really is kind of the new frontier of warfare.
Exactly. And in the past we've called something like this would be an attack on the United States, but it's China, so we won't do anything about it except complain.
Well,
probably true.
Yeah, because we
owe
them too much money. Thanks, Doug.
Thanks, Doug.
6:38, severe storm produced tornadoes in a part of the country not usually known for that kind of weather. We'll show you some amazing footage from storm chasers.
Jem Meyer says get ready for our first rain-free weekend. Oh my goodness, check that out. What a beautiful sight this morning.
6:41, the Army delayed a hearing on desertion charges by former Taliban prisoner of war Sergeant Bo Bergdahl. He is charged with leaving his post in Afghanistan. He was held 5 years and is now charged with desertion and other crimes. His pretrial hearing was moved to September at the request of defense lawyers, and it will be at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio.
Former Governor Rick Perry makes his presidential hopes for 2016 official.
We will unleash an era of economic growth and limitless opportunity. We will rebuild America industry. We will lift wages for American workers. It can be done because it has been done in Texas.
Yep, he made his announcement in a hangar at Addison Airport. Veterans and supporters shared the stage. He hopes to erase the memory of his disastrous 2012 campaign. He's also under indictment for abuse of power. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton raised money for her campaign in Houston, and while there, she pressed for a federal law to ensure voters are not turned away from the polls. She criticized states like Texas that have passed strict voter ID laws.
Stop fear-mongering about a phantom epidemic of election fraud and start explaining why they're so scared of letting citizens have their say.
Well, she told a crowd at Texas Southern University that those voter ID laws unfairly target minority, poor, and young and elderly voters who may not have state-issued IDs. It is 6:43. The Rangers took it to extra innings. They just could they come up with a win? We'll take a look. And we've got some highlights ahead of that game. Looks like they're celebrating for sure.
Finally, a weekend without rain. Jen's forecast is next. Chip is back with Friday morning traffic.
It is 6:46. 3 homes were demolished, 25 others damaged when a tornado swept through northern Colorado last night. Take a look at this video. This is north of Denver. That storm brought large hail, heavy rain, lightning. No one was hurt, though. This is one of the 2 tornadoes that touched down in Simla. That's about 60 miles southeast of Denver. A storm chaser caught the large tornado crossing over a road. Thankfully, a very rural area. You can see that one vehicle even closer. Ooh, that's scary, Jen.
Yeah, I think he was blocking off traffic, though, so that's a lot of chasers do like to block off traffic when tornadoes are near, which is good. And you normally think, well, I mean, why would someone drive, towards a tornado? But sometimes people aren't paying attention as much as you'd like. Plus, sometimes they're rain wrapped as well. So a good thing that storm chasers do, and of course, bringing us video as well. So thanks to them. Beautiful. Can you believe this is a live shot? This is not a photo, folks. This is a live shot of Farmers Branch. Beautiful this morning. Just a couple of high clouds making for a gorgeous sunrise. 76 currently in Dallas, 73 in Fort Worth. It's 71 in Irving. Plano is about 72. It's not too bad when it comes to the winds out of the south-southeast at 6 miles an hour. Humidity is at 87%, dew point still up there at 66 degrees. That's why it's feeling a little bit more sticky this morning. Temperatures right now, lots of 60s, lots of 70s across the map. No big differences, though. We're all within about 8 to 12 degrees of one another. The wind speeds, once again, not getting up there today, expecting between 5 to 10. So what you see out there now is pretty much what you get this afternoon. Futurecast by lunchtime. If you've got lunch plans maybe with the coworkers, know that it might be a little on the hot side. Still pleasant, though, enough to get out there on the patio as long as you're not in the direct sunshine. 82 by lunchtime, but look at how quickly we warm up. 92 this afternoon. I agree with that number. So expect these temperatures to be just like yesterday, maybe just a shade warmer. We get up to 91 yesterday. Once again, I think 92 today. And we should decrease those temps back down into the mid-80s by the evening. A little bit cooler on the outskirts as well. Now, when we talk about what the forecast will be for today, I think it's a perfect day to kind of head out to the pool. I know not everybody off school yet, but maybe some of the moms and dads still at home. Perfect day to maybe head out to the poolside and enjoy some of the sunshine. 92 today, mostly sunny, light winds, plenty of sunshine. I mean, really, that's basically the tune we'll be singing for the next 5 days. Temperatures stay anywhere between 92 and 94. Warmest day of the week happens on the weekend. It's on Sunday, up to 94 degrees. Looking at the 4-1 AccuWeather 7-day forecast, we'll stay in the 90s, not 1, not 2, but hey, all the way through next week. That's 7 days in 90s. In fact, it looks even beyond that. Chip, looks like the only chance of rain we have comes next Wednesday, and it's only 30%.
Thanks, Jen. We are going to have to turn our attention to LBJ and focus specifically on this incident for this entire report. This wreck just happened within the last 5 minutes. Here's what we know. Motorcycle is involved in this accident as well as several other vehicles. The motorcycle rider is down. It's a life-threatening situation. The 2 right main lanes can get by, and that's it. The 2 left lanes are also closed, as you can see, for the main flow of traffic, and all of the paramedics working on the motorcyclist have set up shop, if you will, in those tolled lanes. So all of the eastbound tolled lanes are also completely blocked off, and those drivers are going to have to sit and wait until this incident is resolved. But again, we don't expect this to clear anytime, at least in the near term. The paramedics should be the first to leave with the motorcycle rider if it's a situation where they can transport. There's also an outside possibility, though we haven't heard it yet, of an emergency helicopter having to come to this scene. But again, it's so early in this incident that it's hard to say. This backup extends back past the tollway interchange, and there is a bit of an onlooker backup on the westbound side, but not too bad so far.
The 1-1 pitch. Ground ball through the hole to left field. Around third, coming in to score the winning run is Leonis Martin, and Shin-Soo Choo walks it off with the base hit.
Oh yeah, Rangers beat the Chicago White Sox last night in Arlington. Shin-Soo Choo singles home the game-winning run. That was in the 11th inning. Rangers open a series in Kansas City tonight.
Well, it is not exactly the kind of dignified appearance you would expect from a billionaire, but we're talking about Mark Cuban.
Not again. Sharknado 3.
It's true, the Sci-Fi Channel released a preview of this summer's Sharknado 3. Mavs owner Mark Cuban, and you'll see him here, there he is, plays the President of the United States. God help us all in this movie. This time, though, we're rooting for the sharks. because they attack Washington, D.C. We wish them the best.
The Sharks don't win. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had Sharknado 2 and Sharknado 3.
If they win this time, it could be very good for the country. 6:52 right now. Boaters can start making plans to spend time at North Texas' busiest lake. It's finally going to open, but with restrictions.
A big victory for a little pill, but it's the so-called female Viagra drug. It still has one more hurdle before it can hit store shelves. Good morning. 6:54. An FDA advisory panel is backing an experimental drug that would boost a woman's sex drive. The panel stressed that this drug must carry safety restrictions to manage the side effects, including fatigue, low blood pressure, fainting. The positive recommendation, though, is a major victory for the drug. For years, there have been concerns about its effectiveness and also safety issues. The FDA has until August 18th to approve that medication.
So right now you're looking live. This is 635 LBJ again, right around the Coit interchange. And you can see that the main lanes of traffic are somewhat compromised. The two left lanes, the main lanes are blocked, but the tolled lanes are completely closed. So just a quick reminder that we have that big trouble in that area. We're going to go right over to a map real quick of what's going on in a couple of other areas worth steering clear of. There's that marker of the incident of LBJ. For folks that are trying to move over on I-20 around the Duncanville area, at least trying to head there from I-35E, wreck just happened westbound. Emergency crews are heading that way, so please keep that in mind. You folks in Corinth, Hickory Creek area heading southbound on I-35 from Denton, there's still trouble at the Corinth Parkway exit that also services Post Oak, and wreckers are on the scene.
Missing in action 2 days this week because I had jury duty.
Yes.
And I got picked for the jury.
You did your duty.
To the nightmare of the poor people in the courtroom.
And normally you kind of work up to Friday, putting
Yeah.
all the calls together and everything so that you can get tell it to Tim Dem. But we appreciate you kind of did like a short version.
It's kind of a rush job, but I mean, you had something to say, so we're going to do two different versions, one this hour and one next. Here you go. Roll it.
There is nothing wrong in America today that a change of leadership will not make happen.
Rick Perry is not going to no White House. He's just like George W. Bush. You understand where I'm coming from?
Rick Perry is just another clown in the GOP clown car.
Hey, let's think about a Ted Cruz Rick Perry ticket. That might be cool.
You know, Rick Perry gonna run for president again. How do you do that when you're under felony indictment?
Well, it's this minor thing called innocent until proven guilty. So we'll see how that turns out. But that'll be hanging over certainly his candidacy.
Okay, so a lot of phone calls on that one.
Oh, yeah. And more next hour on a different topic that you can probably guess that was in the news this week. You can tell it to Tim at 214 Hot Pigs or go to the Good Day page at fox4news.com to send us an email. What do you say we find somebody, a new little friend with
Jen
a
Myers is
wagging
so excited.
tail?
So happy right now. He's so chill too. Look at him. He's just like, I'm on TV. I can handle it. Yep. He's a good boy. We'll give kisses. This is Richard. Richard is a Chihuahua mix. I think he's a Jackwawa. Look at that face. That face just screams, I'm yawning. He needs a home up. He sees himself on TV. He has the best coloring. This is what's called brindle pattern. It's almost like a tiger stripe. Check this out. Here, move around. There we go. He has tiger stripe pattern. Really cute. He's 2 years old, so he's full grown. I know, kisses. He's 2 years old, so he's full grown. I know. He's real loving. He's about 12 pounds.
Yeah, he's not going to get any bigger.
Not going to get any bigger.
Yeah.
Anything else we should know about this cute little kiddo?
Well, as you can see, loves to sit in laps. I think he's perfect for any family. Just a little petite little boy that you can bring everywhere, and he loves car rides.
Yay! So if you guys want to take this guy home, his name is Richard, you can do so by giving the SPCA of Dallas, or of Texas rather, a call. You can call them at 188-ANIMALS or spca.org. Say goodbye, Richard. Goodbye.
Say to some famous people on this Friday morning. Actor Mark Wahlberg celebrating another birthday. He's a major powerhouse in Hollywood now.
Family is major in Boston in the breakfast business.
Yeah.
They have like, like eggs.
Marky Mark is...
I thought it was the burger business. Oh, well, anyway.
46.
You said 46? I'm going 44.
40.
He is 44 years old. How about that? Actor Ron Livingston does a lot of stuff because he just...
Oh, he was in Office Space.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ron Livingston is 60.
You said how old?
I said 60.
55.
I'm going 50.
$48 old. Okay, what about Kenny G?
That's actually is the same hair that Evan had back in 1981.
It does. I've seen some of Evan's old pictures.
Right.
Except that Kenny's hair is hanging around. Wow. Did I say?
Kenny G is 61.
You said 51. I'm
61.
going to go 58.
62.